Pre-order Dragon's Lair soon. Legacy cabs in Limbo, Atgames, the Batman, House of the Dead remake, and of course, bourbon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of this week. I think it's episode 37. I think when we get to like 40, we're going to start putting numbers on these things so you can kind of watch these in chronological order. I know that's what you that's your idea of fun, right? That's what you want to do to party. Check out the poll if you're just joining the chat over here. We'll go ahead and read it to you real quick, kind of topical. Kind of something that everybody has been waiting for quite some time. And the question that I'm posing to you is, would you pre-order Dragon's Lair for $6.99? As it sits right now, $6.99. Throw your answer up there. Let your voice be heard. 30 votes already. Let's see if we can't get that up. Curious to know what everybody thinks, because I think now we're talking about a completely different world and a completely different price structure. Oh, God. Oh, man. Speaking of prices, where'd all the sales go? I think the only place you can the only place you can actually go and get a sale anywhere is going to be Walmart. Kind of back to the way things were, I guess. All the sales at Best Buy and the big retailers are kind of gone for now. So if you're looking for something, that's probably the only place you can go to. So let's look over here and roll up this. Let me apologize for just a second. Let me scroll that up. So one thing that has been going on in the past is if you comment too early for the live stream, I don't get to see those comments, but it looks like StreamYards has stepped up their game, and I'm glad, because it looks like all those original comments were retained. So let's start with this goofball from 2 Mile Arcade. What's up, Good Battle? If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. You didn't even have to put Ricky Bobby in there. I know what you're talking about. Shake and bake. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Chucky Shea says, Dragon's Lair, baby. I think he's just stretching out the word baby. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. Somebody fact check me. This is my holy grail. I've been holding out for this release from 1UP, and I knew it would come. I am glad that you're going to get something that's on your bucket list, your holy grail, and you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that are really excited about this. I can't wait to figure out what that price structure is going to be. We're going to talk about that just a little bit tonight. Riddick, what's going on, brother? How you doing? What's up, 19K Fox? Always enjoy these Sunday night discussions. Thanks for stopping by. I enjoy having them with you. Big Reese, my brother from down under. He's drinking, and then I think there's two. Yeah, there's a beer mug, and then there's two, or lemonade, whatever you drink. Cheers, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. And some of those restrictions are being lifted from everybody. I think from what you told me in our last little message going back and forth, that things are getting a little bit better down there. So that's good. Absolutely. Todd Cottrell says, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Interesting line of topics tonight. Good vibes. Yes. Good vibes. Good vibes. Nothing to be afraid of tonight. Well, I don't know. I tend to have a hot take, whether I know I have a hot take or not. It's kind of the nature of the business, isn't it? House of the Dead, finally? Yes, Miss Janine. Yes, indeed. It's good times. It is good times indeed. Twisted said, never liked Dragon's Lair. Well, I can't believe you'd say that. Why? The blasphemy on this guy. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Thanks for stopping by, man. Dragon's Lair is a great cabinet, just not a great game. That's one way of looking at it for sure. Absolutely. We got Donuts saying, waiting, grr. 19, I think you see, spell check didn't help you there. All right, why would it spell GOR? That's ridiculous. Obviously, you meant 4, and sorry, it failed you again. Dragon's Lair is pretty iconic. Was so cool to see when it first hit the arcades. Thank you, Charlie Chuck, for that one. Appreciate it. Subbed day one. Thanks, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. Tim Z, what's up? Throw the SNES Dragon's Lair on there as a bonus game and watch everyone run away. You might be onto something. Everybody knows I'm not a fan of console games on my damn arcade machine. It just doesn't make any sense. Tammy G, how you doing? I need to see a finished cabinet. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And reviews. That is what we are here for. Absolutely. No, I'm with you. I think a lot of people are kind of on the fence about that with some of the things that we heard previously about this from the source, from RK1UP, from John D himself. So that's something to little cost for concern. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into all that. But first, I want to start with something. Hey, Art, how you doing, buddy? Art Davison, nice to see you. Dragon Gamer, my favorite dragon. that is not related to Dragon Ball Z. Sorry, my heart is with that anime. What's up? And no. It just Dragon just says he's just saying no, he ain't having it. He's not having it. Rainwater says, just saying that I am still a fan and I still okay. I love you though. John D told you to make that poll. I'm just trying to inject a little bit of realism in here because I don't think there's any way that that's going to be a cabinet you're going to pick up for $500. Not the way things are trending. We're going to talk about that and so much more. The Swole Dad Pitbull. What up, Slappy? How the hell are you? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, I want to. Tammy G. Yeah, I saw you were having some keyboard issues. ANM. I don't know why it does that. It's ridiculous. Crazy. We knew what you meant, though. We knew what you meant. You got this. You want to see the receipts. You want to see something solid before you commit to your hard-earned money. And I'm right there with you. Out there with you. Al, what's going on? I will pre-order. Wow. He said he would pre-order. I'm sorry, Al. I'm assuming you're a guy. I will pre-order Dragon's Lair for $9.99. Is that United States dollars? Listen, okay, if you ask me, Alien vs. Predator comes out, if it's $1,000, am I not going to pre-order it? I cannot answer that question truthfully, because I probably would. So I'm right there with you. Everybody's got that one that pulls on their heartstrings, right? KJK Tex says, I'm waiting for Class of 81 to hit $3.99, then I'll buy it. You might be waiting for a while, man. Those sales seem to be evaporating. Gone with the wind, I should say. Sad, really. Night Shadow, 19K Fox, what's up? Just chilling, sitting back. You know what? I haven't taken a sip of the bourbon yet. And the bourbon tonight, don't get mad at me, but you know how I am. I like to finish off a bottle. And this week, we're going to finish off the 1792. There's a little bit left in there, but we'll start with a fresh bottle next Sunday. And I'm not going to make any promises. I got some things in my radar. I'm trying to lock down. Something a little bit different. Pricey doesn't always mean quality, but sometimes it does. So let's kick things off with something just a little bit different. I wanted to give my brief thoughts on The Batman. No spoilers, just my overall thoughts on it. Movie just came out. A lot of people were on the fence, including this guy. Okay, I called him Sparkles because he was in those Twilight movies. He was a sparkly vampire. I'm like, this kid, no, it's not going to happen. I don't want a Sparkles Batman. Movie's not bad. Go check it out. I think it's worth checking out. If you got kids and you want to take kids to it, I will say this: it is a PG-13 rating. It's got one F-bomb, and there's no skin, not a lot of skin. Of course, it's violent because it's Batman, but not over the top. So just kind of a disclaimer for the parents who are thinking maybe I can take the little ones. Make sure they're in their teens. You know, you're the parent, you decide. But no, I think it was good. It's a different take on Batman. This is year 2 Batman. I'm not spoiling anything. This happens very early in the movie. You find out he's only been doing this for 2 years, and he's still young and trying to figure it out. So you bear that in mind, and you realize, okay, really not bad. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Take it or leave it. It's really up to you. Looks like we got a $2 super chat from Rainwater Games. What's up? I really am a fan. Left you a voicemail last week. Absolutely. I will get to that, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. And what am I going to hit you with? Let's start you off with get a jacket on. It's going to get a little bit chilly.
Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
So enough of the movie talk. Let's go. Well, so we got one more super chat. Look at this. The Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger for $9.99. Hey, Fox, I saw The Batman last night. It was incredible. A true Batman movie. Cheers. We got another fan. We got another positive endorsement right there. I think it's definitely worth checking out. If you've got some reservations, give it a shot. I think it's worth giving a shot. Check some of your preconceived notions of Sparkles at the door. I had to make a conscious effort to turn Sparkles off my brain, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. So worth checking out for sure. Man, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it as always. And here you go, buddy.
Can't you do any better?
That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. Thanks again for the $10 super chat, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so No more movie talk, right? That was fun. That was fine. But let's talk about something a little more substantial. Remember January 2021 CES? A lot of game cabinets were announced. Some were really spectacular and awesome. And I was waiting for this one. I was waiting for that one. X-Men 4-player comes to mind. Wish it would have been 6-player, but that's fine. A lot of good stuff. And amongst all the good stuff, there was another nugget, another gem, another classic, and that was Dragon's Lair. CES 2021. Well, it's weird. Every other cabinet announced back then has been released everywhere, at every retailer. RC Wiley, he's got them over there in Utah, discounting them. All these cabinets have come up and gone down on price. They've been on sale. It's kind of nuts to think about how long everything else has been out, and we still have not seen a final rendering of Dragon's Lair. It's kind of nuts. But I will say this, and this is kind of a positive thing before we get to, we get too negative. I think a lot of the delay, a big part of the delay was based on our feedback. They heard our reaction to their idea. Now let's go back in the time machine just a little bit. And if you're not familiar with Dragon's Lair as a cabinet, it has a screen built into it. And it's a sort of a second screen, kind of like a pinball machine in a way. It's a little digital dot matrix screen, if my memory serves me right, that's above the actual monitor itself. And to accomplish that, we heard from John D and others that this was going to be kind of like a cell phone idea. Well, you would take a cell phone up there and put it in like a cell phone holder between these two speakers, and that was going to act as that other screen. I would assume this would be made to cut down costs. I think it sounds horrible. I think it sounds horrible. And not only me, who I'm not the biggest Dragon's Lair fan, everybody basically that heard it thought it was a bad idea. Not the greatest idea at all. So they went back to the drawing board. This is called for an extensive redesign. So I think it's good. I think I would rather, if it's a cabinet that you're waiting for, dying for, a true classic like Dragon's Lair is, you want it to be as accurate as possible, especially if we're talking about $600, $700, which is where we're at now with the pricing of these cabinets. That's just the way it is. The days of $399 are no longer really, a reality, at least not when it comes to the top tier cabinets with different functionality, similar to what we're going to probably end up having with Dragon's Lair. So if you go to the website, Arcade 1UP, you're going to see that the listing sort of changed. First of all, right off the bat, you're not going to see Space Ace right next to it. Usually, the Dragon's Lair arcade machine listing right there would have another listing just to the right of it, and that was the Space Ace version, which is kind of weird when you think about it, because that was basically just a reskin. All the games on one cabinet were going to be on the other cabinet. So there really was, it was really just a reskin situation. And we've never really seen on their website just reskins of the same cabinet, right next to each other. Now, we have seen different versions of the cabinet. If you're looking at this right now, you see the Marvel superheroes to the left. We've seen different versions of that same cabinet on their website, but it was a completely different version. You would have not so much that QVC bundle that had the lit buttons, but you had the limited edition Marvel superheroes that had different color T-molding, the sandwalk controls and all that. But it was an odd thing to have a reskin cabinet sitting right next to it. Kind of weird, but we understood it. Both games very much in the same vein. Both games have a rabid fan base. And hey, if you want this one or that one, here you go. It was nice to know that coming out of the gate. But they were kind of presented as two different cabinets. That's really not the case. So this is how the listing sort of changed. Okay, well, right off the bat, you see it's sort of by itself. And then you click on that and you go and you see, hey, here we go. Look at this, coming soon. We actually have something. Pre-orders open in June. Awesome. I mean, that's something, right? It's been in limbo for so long. It's been just completely everybody guessing. I don't know. And so, great. So we have something to kind of look forward to. A lot of advance notice when you think about it, as far as when it comes to the pre-orders. Usually we don't get quite this much notice when it comes to a pre-order situation. And just listing a month is that's their MO. That's basically what they do. You usually don't get a hard date on a pre-order right away. The first thing you hear is usually a month, and then they dwindle that down as we get closer to that month, and then eventually, you'll know exactly when and what time you can actually jump in and pre-order your machine. So this is definitely better, gives you some hope. What is a little odd is the fact that the render looks exactly the same. Now maybe they just haven't updated this. I'm sure that that is the case, but it's significant because that is the big reason that I believe that the pre-orders have been pushed so long and we've been waiting so long for this cabinet. So I think that it's good that they've given us, and this is hopefully just a stair-stepped process. Okay, we tell everybody when they can expect a pre-order. Then we slowly change the rendering. Maybe the week before pre-orders go live, we get to see a rendering, a good rendering. Now remember, we have had issues with Arcade1Up, running up to the day before a pre-order. The Simpsons cabinet comes to mind, where we didn't even know what the official games list was before we were supposed to pre-order this thing. And it's crazy. There's no way that I would do that. And I didn't. I wasn't planning on it until they officially announced the games list the day before. Cutting it close, aren't you there, buddy? So we could potentially see an updated rendering maybe the day before, maybe the week of. It's probably what I would suspect to happen maybe a couple weeks before. So this is great. In theory. What I see right there is pretty minimalistic. They're really just same rendering, got us a date, good to go, right? Then I started looking at the website overall. And you see that, they have these banners. When you first go to the website, they have these banners up top that highlight, what they're trying to push, what kind of products they're trying to push, specifically the new stuff that's coming down the pipe. Give me just 1 second. I jumped over here, got a $9.99 super chat from Game Broker 84. What's going on? Gonna have to catch the replay, but just wanted to stop by and support the channel. Will you be pre-ordering Dragon Slayer? Thank you so much for the super chat. As of right now, no, I'm not the biggest fan. But if it comes out and the render looks really good and it's a reasonable price, I would consider it. I would entertain the idea. But as things sit right now, no, because I'm not a big Dragon Slayer fan, but I definitely like something that's a little bit different. And it is definitely that for sure. I know the gameplay is different. I hope that the look is a little bit different and they step it up just a little bit from what we saw before. Really curious to find out what they're going to do with that other. I have a thought for that second screen. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Man, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And here comes Wolverine. Absolutely love that. Can't get enough of that. That's awesome. Thanks again for the super chat, man. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate it. But I noticed that the banner changed. So they used to have CES, right? You had all the CES announcements, and that was one of the banners. And you would click through, and they would have banners for everything that was available now. And it was usually the newer stuff, right? You had Terminator 2, you had Ridge Racer, had its own little banner. CES stuff went away, and they replaced it with The Simpsons. Now, listen, I'm not going to hate on the Simpsons cabinet. I don't have the cabinet. From what I've seen, there's a lot of people that like it. There's a lot of people that have some issues with it. For 2 games, I originally pre-ordered this thing, and then because of all the tomfoolery, I canceled it, and I'm like, I'm good. So it's still available right now for $3.99. But that's kind of my point. This is the $3.99 cab. It's one of the cheaper cabs they have, and they chose to highlight it. And then if you go to their website to buy it from them directly, it's $6.99. So it's a little bit weird. But of all the why? I mean, you're going to take down the CES, which is, the CES announcements, those 3 new legacy cabinets and then the Pro line as part of those CES announcements is a much more interesting banner to have. And it's definitely more up to date than The Simpsons. So I thought that was weird. And then it also got me thinking that, okay, well, if you're going to take down the CES banner because for whatever reason, right? Maybe you can only have so many banners, or you only want your website to have so many banners because you want to retain a look. Well, then why wouldn't you put Dragon Slayer up there? Why wouldn't that be a headliner? I just don't get that. And let me real quick, while we're talking, I wanted to bring this up just to go back to the website to see if maybe there was some change. And as I'm looking at it right now, kids, I'm not seeing it. The only banners I see are The Simpsons, Shack Jam. That's what I'm effectively calling it. Ridge Racer, and then Terminator 2. That's it. Those are your 4 banners. It's just a little bit weird. And I mean, it seems like to me it would be a great time to say, hey, finally, guess what? Strap yourself in. You're going to be able to pre-order Dragon Slayer in June. That should have been a banner. I don't know why. And maybe you're saying Fox is really no big deal. I don't know what you're getting all bent out of shape for. I think this could mean a couple things. It could mean a couple things. So the lack of really shooting a spotlight. What did I say? Scrap that. Shooting a spotlight on Dragon's Lair, and the fact that now you can actually expect to pre-order it is kind of telling. So that does that mean that maybe they have a lack of confidence? Maybe June won't actually happen. I mean, you think they didn't even push the cabinet up to the top of the list. It's still buried down. You really had to scroll through, you really had to be watching the website, that cabinet specifically, to even know that that was going to happen. Or that change was made. It's kind of odd. I don't know why that. I mean, that would for me, that would just be a banner item without a doubt. That should be up there, and it's not. So it's got me thinking. So now that we know, quote unquote, right, things can always change. We can expect a pre-order sometime in June. Well, that's weird. Usually pre-orders, looking back at what we've seen, pre-orders happen, and then 4 months later, you're going to be able to get your hands on a cabinet. Take, for example, all the stuff that dropped in November, and then we got those mid-February. So this means that you're going to be able to get your hands on this, hopefully, around September, October timeframe, kind of before we move into the holiday season. But because we didn't get any kind of update with CES, with the CES announcements, those 3 legacy cabinets, and then, of course, the Pro Series KI that everybody's kind of watching because we really want to. I mean, I specifically am really paying attention to that. I have not picked up the 3/4 scale. I want to see the pricing on KI Pro before I make any kind of decisions either way. But, we don't have any updates when it comes to those announcements. And the fact that they've also removed the spotlight from those announcements kind of gives me a little bit of pause. Not sure what that means. So if they're going to push that back, does that mean that we can actually expect those pre-orders to come after June, July, maybe even moving into the August timeframe before we can even pre-order those cabinets also? It's not outside the realm of possibility. There's been no update on those cabinets yet. So going to wait and see. But does that mean that we're going to be able to get our hands on those? Not middle of the year, like maybe some of us thought, or maybe towards, maybe instead of getting our hands on those in August or September, like we thought, are we talking about a Christmas timeframe for those CES announcements, those legacy cabinets, and especially the Pro Series? Is this going to be a holiday season type rollout of these cabinets? And does that also mean that we're not going to get any new titles? I keep coming back to this because that was sort of something that was a talking point from RK1. Hey, bunch of new titles. Gonna have a lot of new titles. Crazy new titles. A lot of hype about these new titles coming out. And yet we're not seeing any new titles. Everything is the same exact titles in different form factors. What are you doing? I just don't get that. I don't understand that at all. One thing that really just wigs me out is Killer Instinct. I don't know why you would do that, but we'll talk about that, I guess, in a little bit. Well, actually, no, I'm going to roll into that because that is my next point. KI Pro, it's sort of odd. Now, if think about this for just 1 second, if you're not going to be able to even pre-order the thing until after Dragon's Lair is able to pre-order. So now we're talking about July, August, when you can actually pre-order the Pro Series. It's a Pro Series, the Pro version of Killer Instinct, which means you can't even get it till around Christmas time 2022. Why in the world would you announce it at CES? I mean, I have said over and over again, and other YouTubers have also said that the Killer Instinct Pro Series, there's no way you can tell me there's no way you can explain it to me in a way that I'm going to believe you if you tried to tell me within that explanation that, the Pro Series KI didn't lose us one sale, didn't scavenge off, it didn't suck off any sales of the 3/4 scale cabinets. I do not believe that. I just don't believe it. I know there's people, I'm one of them. It's like, you know what? That's great, but instead of paying pre-order pricing $699 for KI 3/4, how about I wait till this Pro Series comes out? And if the Pro Series cabinet is not my cup of tea, crazy expensive or whatever, the 3/4 scale is still there. So why would you announce KI at the beginning of the year if we're not even going to be able to pre-order this thing until the middle of the year? Which means we don't get it in our hands, in our game rooms until the end of the year. Why not hold that announcement until the middle of the year, close to maybe Dragon's Lair? Let's say Dragon's Lair pre-orders are about to drop next week, and boom, now we announce the Pro Series. Because the Shack Jam thing could have been fine, sort of a one-off. Nobody's really excited about it, but it could have spun that rumor mill up, thinking about a bigger cabinet. Ooh, what if they did this? What if they did that? And then boom, first part of June, you announce a Pro Series, and the first title will be Killer Instinct. Now you still are going to have some people that are a little ticked because they just bought the 3/4, but at least you wouldn't have lost those 3/4 sales. Hold that announcement until later, so the people that wanted KI would go ahead and jump on the 3/4 bandwagon, and then boom, here you go. So it's tough to figure out what they're doing over there. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Sales or fan focused otherwise. $5 super chat from Jeff Walsh. What's going on? How you doing? From what I've seen, you can build whatever cab you want. Why are you still talking one up? Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it, man. And I am going to, you know what? I hate to do it to you, but I'm going to send you the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
I appreciate the compliment. More specifically, though, this is a common thing you and I can talk about. I can't build anything. I can't build everything. I could probably figure out some kind of style that I like and settle on it, like RK1 did with the 3/4 scale, and then just bang those things out, and then put maybe pies in there, or consoles in there, or full-blown computers in there, PCs, and run some emulators and all that. But that's just me doing my one thing, and that you can only talk about that for so long. I'm interested to see what a third-party company does. What is their take on it? They're not coming from the enthusiasts like you and I. To recreate what I do is not going to be cost effective. Like I told you in the 6-player X-Men build, that was very expensive. I even forget what the total, I think I blocked it out of my mind what the total was, but it's not cost effective. And not everybody has the same skill set. And not everybody is willing to go through all that. But what Arcade1Up and iArcade and Atgames, what these companies are doing, they're giving us sort of a common point that we can kind of converge on and come together and talk about. And say, hey, this is something you can buy, I can buy, and we can talk about it, and we can keep it stock, and we can change it, we can do whatever. So I get your point, and it does make a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people that can make an arcade have made an arcade, but I think these things are kind of cool, and they're a common point for you and I to talk, because you got one and I got one. Now we can talk about it, not just, hey, can you make me one? I can't because I got a full-time job. But no, I appreciate it. Becky, how you doing? You thought I wasn't going to say hi. Hey, girl, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Let's look at another super chat real quick. David Gilbert, I just purchased a Prime sit-down racing cab, and I've been following your homemade version. Can't wait to see what the final cost is and it in action. Thank you so much, David. Those things are fun, aren't they? Yeah, I'm just like what I did with my last project, the 6-player X-Men. I will tally up the entire cost and give you the rundown in the very end. Artwork is going to be expensive, but with that project, nothing was cheap on that, except for the racing seat. And I don't know. I think you're going to be surprised with some of my findings. I think a lot of people are overpaying for some of the stuff that it's just doesn't make a lot of sense. You don't have to. You really don't have to. Man, $5. Thank you so much. And you know what? Here comes my girl. You know what? No, I'm not going to give you that one. Here you go. Here comes my girl. Watch out. What a woman. So there you go. Dragon's Lair. You can order it, pre-order it soon. It's coming up eventually. At least we got a date. Curious to see what the renderings look like. Curious to see what the price point's going to be. But let me just say something right now. Last thing I'm going to say. This is my prediction. You can frame it, you can clip it, you can throw it out there, and you can make fun of me, and I don't care. Share it with all your friends. But I think Well, it's really not. This really isn't crazy. This isn't as bad as some other predictions I've made. I think what we're going to see is we're going to see basically the same arcade shape cabinet. We're going to see the 17-inch monitor. It's going to be a 3/4 scale cabinet. They're not going to go pro. But I think that monitor we're going to see, that little DMD display, they're just going to take that screen out of the pinball machines. I think they're going to take that small screen out of the pinball machines, throw it up there, and that's why I brought up that price point of $700. You got those cabinets out there right now, $750. I'm sorry, the pinball machines are $750. They got those multiple monitors and very, pinball specific controls, but that's their price point there. And if you're looking at Terminator 2 at $699, I just don't think they're going to deviate from that. I think that's what you're looking at. So $699 for Dragon Slayer. It's going to have the screen out of the pinball machines. I think that's where we're at. So we'll see. Knock on wood, right? Let's see if it works out. P-Dub, what's going on, brother? Fox. That's me. He said my name. That's just talking about, man. Shut your horrible mouth, you liar. Vicious, horrible liar. Stop it. So teasing me with your emotions. You just go and you just try to pay off that Cubert pickup, okay? All right, that we're all very happy you got. And speaking of very happy, and speaking of things you got, and speaking of things that you didn't think I would get, ta-da! So the Atgames Gamer Mini dropped. The price dropped. Not $129. That's not the price that this guy paid. This is the price that this guy paid. Over at GameStop, they had this thing for $50. I just couldn't resist. Now, I do have the Legends Core Max on pre-order. I am still leaving that pre-order. I want to get my hands on that. I've got a couple projects in mind for that small form factor. Hint, hint. I'll leave it at that. But this is what I picked up. $50. And I can't help but just mention real quick that the, one up, you coming out with your Couchcade? I think I'm seeing your inspiration for your Couchcade. If you look at the description, and for those of you that are familiar with this, and I'll make it really brief, but you're going to get 100 games, and this is basically a wireless controller that you sit on the couch with, that's in your lap, and then your box that actually hooks to the TV is over at the entertainment center, and this is how you play the game. It's supposed to have really good controls, and at $50, it was a steal, right? Really, the 100 games aren't that great, to be honest with you. And to be fair, I haven't really played them all. The titles that I recognize, I'm not real jazzed about, but I am jazzed about Bad Dudes because I really like Bad Dudes. I'm a simple man. So if that's the only game on it that I enjoy, hey, I think it's $50 well worth it. But I think there's going to be some more stuff going on. You got the bring your own games to the functionality to the device. You also have, I think you have access to their library. So it should be interesting to check out their ecosystem. This is my first entry into the Atgames ecosystem. And that's really what you're doing. Similar to what Apple does, similar to what I wish Arcade 1UP would have done in some form or fashion, is provide or create this ecosystem that we get into buying one of their products. So this is what I've done. Putting my money where my mouth is, wanting to give other companies a try. And this is it. $50, not $129. We'll see. I will let you know exactly what I think about it. But yeah, I think that Arcade 1UP, you got a little inspiration. I think that's where it came from. So Atgames beats you to the punch. Jeff, again, with a $10 super chat, I've hit a wall. 1UP Pinball. ALP pushed me to buy a real. Oh, I feel like I need to give you your $10 back. 1 month away from the premium JP Stern pin. Wow. I have accepted this a hobby now and just shell out the coin. I have not made that leap, that quantum leap, but you definitely have. That is not a cheap hobby, but listen, you cannot deny the quality in a Stern pinball machine. Listen, it's going to keep its resale value. Not that you're going to resell it, but if you're married, just tell her it's an investment. just say something. I don't know, but congratulations. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And you're kind of where I want to be eventually. Like to get my hands on a a real pinball machine myself just to put it in the collection. But what am I going to do for you, man? $10, second super chat of the night. You know what? We're going full blown Weapon X. Here you go.
Weapon X.
Perfect! Hyper combo KO! Game's over. Time to call it quits.
Time to call it quits. Let's talk about something else. Terminator 2, Marquee. You like that toothpick fix? so if you didn't catch my last video, go ahead and check that out. I'd appreciate it. Check it out. And it is a beautiful marquee upgrade from Sabo Arcades. But my specific issue, not sure this is specific to everybody else, but the marquee that I was sent was a little bit short. So when I installed it, it slides in nice, but it's got a little bit of play up and down, which normally wouldn't be an issue, except that it was so short, I got a little bit of light bleed up top. Now, watch the video and you see what I had to go through to replace my marquee. If you have a Terminator 2 cabinet, you will also have to go through the same crud to replace your marquee. So maybe if you want to get this marquee upgrade, buy it at the same time and get your T2 cabinet and install it as you're doing the assembly. It's not that easy. It's really not that easy. But once I get this thing back together, I'm thinking about that. This is not easy to take apart, and it's got a little wiggle to it. What am I going to do? Am I going to lay this back on its side and take it all apart and take it out and see what I can do and put some stuff in the slot there and try to pick it? And I thought, you know what? The gap is not that much. What if I just sort of lift up the marquee and just put something in there? And that's what I did. I took 3 toothpicks and I put them in the slot, one in the middle and one at each end. And when I lowered it down, I let the marquee rest. It was perfect. Perfect, just enough. And with modifications and mods in general, I think you're going to find that some of the fitment issues are not perfect, not 100%. Most of the stuff you buy isn't. But listen, the marquee was $40. It wasn't 50, 75, 100. Wasn't super expensive. If it was very expensive, I would have probably demanded a refund or demanded another piece, or sent this back and get another one in. But it looked really, really good. And you can see in the video, check it out. It looks really good. Wasn't really worth all that hassle. And the fix was very inexpensive. I don't even know what the cost of 3 toothpicks is. And take the price of the box. You got to, how many are in the box and divide by, I don't know. We're not going to do that math now, but it wasn't expensive. And it didn't really alter the cabinet in any way, shape, or form. I did keep the original stock marquee. I just keep those in the back. If I want to return it to stock, I can, but it's fine. So when you get something out of the box and it doesn't quite do exactly what it was intended to, let's say some kind of electrical device, where LEDs aren't functioning or something, do a little tweaking. And listen, it's something you kind of keep in the back of your mind. Okay, next time if I buy from this person, it maybe won't be perfect, but there's no reason to get bent out of shape and freak out and try to come up with some complicated solution. Sometimes it is just the simple things of life, and it's the simple fixes that can just make your day perfect. I didn't have to take anything apart, and you just kind of roll with it and you go on. So, my advice to you is if something doesn't go quite right, don't freak out. Take a step back, take a little breath, and give it some thought. Think outside the box a little bit, and you can save yourself a lot of time, money, and aggravation, to be perfectly honest with you. So that is my 2 cents on the toothpicks. Now, I did not reach out to Sabo Arcades yet. Like I said, I didn't want to complain, didn't want to do a refund and all that. I thought it was fine for $40 and the fix was super simple. That's fine. But I do plan on just providing them with some feedback, letting them know, hey, my marquee was a little short, wasn't the end of the world, but you might want to make a little adjustment for future customers ordering when it comes to specifically the Terminator 2 cabinet, which is a unique style. It's not the same as all the other RK1 arcades, which is another reason why I kind of gave him a little bit of slack. This is sort of a one-off. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the toothpicks. $5 super chat from S.J. Miola. What's up, man? Fox, please predict a $699 will Lair have a riser as shown? Dragon's Lair. I'm sorry. It's $699. Will see the artwork is always sketchy. The artwork you never quite know. I'm thinking that it's $699. It's going to be a 3/4 scale cabinet with a riser. The artwork, I'm not exactly sure. But if you're talking about just is it going to have a riser, and maybe I read that wrong. If you're just talking about is it going to have a riser, I think it is. I think I think we're talking about a 3/4 scale at $699. I don't think we're going to see. Listen, a Pro, if that would be a radical departure. I don't think they could even put the stock rendering back up if they were going to go that route. I'm confident in predicting with all my magical powers that a 3/4 scale is what we're going to see. So you're going to have a riser. Artwork may vary, but it's going to have that second screen that you find on the pinball machines. That's what I'm predicting with all my vast with all my vast wisdom. Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. And it's about to get toasty. Here you go. Ultra combo indeed. So I am going to provide a little bit of feedback to Joe Sabo and the guys over there. Let them know, hey, you might want to increase that just a little bit. But all in all, I mean, I'm really happy with the product. It looks great. It looks crazy good. Now, if there was just some way I could add a coin door to that arcade one. Oh, if only there was a way. Plugging future episode. What? Did I say that out loud? I do that sometimes. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else that's actually not arcade one-up related. But I guess you could think about it as an arcade one-up missed opportunity, perhaps. And that is the House of the Dead remake. Now, House of the Dead is not, in and of itself, is not that exciting because there's still plenty of ways you can play it. Not easily, but Dreamcasts are still readily available outside. Once Dreamcast dies, though, they are hard to fix. Not the easiest thing in the world to fix, so it's not exactly plentiful. But a remake, that's a little bit different. A remake is something like it really gets me excited. So they announced that recently, just a few days ago. Other guys made videos on it. I wanted to address it because I'm a proud owner of a Switch now. I got the new OLED. Many of you are as well, and this is retro gaming, and this is something that I would love to see from Arcade One. Love to see. We've seen some snippets. I've shown you some spy photos of cabinets that supposedly came from One Up, suggesting that they're working on this. But you're looking at a remake for the Switch. Pre-orders start on March 31st, and you're going to be able to download this, on April 7th. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. How does it look? Looks pretty freaking good. I snagged some screenshots here. Nintendo is a little bit weird about playing full-blown videos, and I didn't want to scab off the actual guys over at Sega, the people that actually made this. Who did this? You scroll over here real quick. Bring the curse. There we go. Come back. I'm not familiar with these companies here, but they handled the remake, and I'm just glad it's coming back, especially on the Switch because of those motion controls. And here you go. You're looking at some pretty sick. I mean, graphically it's huge. It's not really hard to beat what was classic. I'll say classic about those original games. Very polygonial. We'll go with that. Very clunky and chunky. This does not look bad. And what I'm really taking note of is look at the blood. I mean, Nintendo is not known for their violent games. They've come a long way from the consoles of old. You got Mortal Kombat, you got Doom Eternal and all that on Switch. But this, when you watch the replay, when you watch the actual video footage, it's I mean, the blood is like splashing. It's all over the place. Look, and it doesn't really look that cartoony either. So it looks a little bit nuts. But these are some of the screenshots. Check this out while I check out the super chat. Another one from Jeff, who's on a roll tonight, should be saving his money for that pinball, those first few payments. I know those got to be coming in the mail soon. He says, who will be the first to give me my Soul Calibur cab? Oh, listen up, iArcade. iArcade. How many I's you want me to say? You come out with the Soul Calibur cab. Not only have you, made Jeff's dreams come true, but you've got a future customer in me. That's for damn sure. Soul Calibur. Just a great game with one of the greatest, corniest announcers ever conceived. Thank you so much for another $2 super chat. And what is look out, here comes Chun-Li.
Hyper combo finish!
Thanks again for another super chat, buddy. And listen, you got to save your money. Pinball is a coming. Big Reese, an Australian $10, which that makes that $10 just a little bit more special. So effing pumped for the House of the Dead remake. Absolutely. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people are. It's a fun game. I did not know we were getting a remake. I was just hoping for a re-release, but no, we're getting a full-blown remake. So this is something to be, if there was ever something to be effing pumped about, this would be that thing is what it would be. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And here you go, buddy. Continuing with the House of the Dead hype, everybody seems to be mildly excited. Just a little bit. We got another super chat from Rick's Classic Arcade for $2. What's up? House of the Dead is great, but I want Area 51, Maximum Force. I believe I saw that on your live stream. Area 51 is nothing to sleep on, kids. That's a fun game. That's a damn fun game. And I just think that what that really says right there is that Arcade 1-Up needs to kick it in gear. There are a lot of shooters that need to be made into an Arcade 1-Up. And if not, well, guess what's going to happen? The consoles are going to come in and they're going to port them and they're going to make all that money you could be making. Thanks again for the super chat, man. I really do appreciate it. And here you go.
Finish him. Skrilla wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Fatality indeed. So you're looking at the screenshots, you're like, wow, this looks really good. Especially if you look to the bottom left here, that the corny, weird opening with the winged creature. I forget what I forget what his name is, but the one that captures the girl, it was all just sort of, kind of janky. Now it's got big wings, it's all freaky. You can see the textures. Looks cool. But this is only a part of it. This is only a piece of the puzzle, kids. What's the other part? The guns, the controllers. What are we going to have? Are we going to have something legit? Because you know what this really needs? Gun cons. That's right, gun cons. I pulled this image off of Amazon, and it's, it's just generic controller, number 4. I mean, it's nothing really special. It's something you can put your Joy-Cons in, and you can, I've never even used this piece personally, so I don't know what game is compatible with or how it really functions, how it feels. But we need something like this, something to listen. If you're going to release House of the Dead, a shooter game, don't tell me I'm just using my thumbsticks. I'm not doing. No, we're not doing that. Come on, we're not doing it. I want to be able to shoot the screen. You have to be able to shoot the screen. Come on. What are you doing? How are they going to accomplish that? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if they just sense where the Joy-Con is in relationship to the TV itself without that bar on top like the Wii had. I'm not sure how they're going to pull this off. I'm interested to know what they're going to do. Or is it something you can't even do when you're plugged into a TV? Is this only something you're going to be able to do in handheld mode with the controllers detached? I don't know. But this is something that we have to have. I would prefer pistols, something with Sega branding all over it, House of the Dead branding all over it. That's what I want to see. Something in conjunction with this game. Maybe even, I don't know, harken back to the good old days where you could actually buy the game physically, and included in the game was an actual gun con of some type. Maybe for even a super deluxe edition for, I don't know, $150 or whatever, you can get the game, and you can get 2 gun cons. Whether it's a shotgun configuration like you see, or some kind of a pistol configuration. I think I would like the pistol a lot better, but that's just me. But this is something I think we need to have. You got to have that. You got to have that peripheral. I never know if I'm saying that right. It's not paraphernalia. It's a peripheral. I'm probably adding more vowels than I need to. So that's great, and we're all excited. But then, as I do, I tend to sort of search and look and see, and they do have a coming soon section on your Switch. If you have a Switch, you know what I'm talking about. You scroll over there to check out the games. A lot of games I see coming out that I'm excited about, really jazzed about, and pumped about. It's not there. Then when you do a search, you're going to find this. Nothing, no results. That's kind of weird. Now, we did say, that over here, if you look, it says pre-order start on the 31st. So, okay, maybe you're not going to find it until the 31st. But if you look at games, and this is coming out in April, right? But if you look at these other games that are available around the same time, April, end of April, actually, you can see that these games are there and they're ready to pre-order. And yes, The Force Unleashed, I have pre-ordered that because probably my favorite Star Wars game. Loved it on PS2. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And played on PS3 as well. The HD remake is pretty sick. I think I even played it on PSP. That's a good. The PSP can only do so much. So yeah, it's a little weird. Something to take note of. It's not a conspiracy yet, but why the tight window? What is this? 8 days? Isn't that a little bit weird? Just a little bit odd. That you come over here and you get games. These games have been listed for a while too. I mean, at least I picked up my Switch a month ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, and these games were on there as soon as I checked them out. Checked out the coming soon section. Really excited about Switch Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports, like Wii Sports. Should be exciting. Should be fun. But yeah, curious to know why would you create yourself this super tight window? Wouldn't it make more sense to have this thing available longer so that more people could pre-order it and get hyped about it and then, get this thing and buy it and play it and enjoy it? Or are we just back to the old licensing thing? Is Nintendo's premium so high that this company could only afford to do so much? I mean, is it just the company not paying their dues and their fair share to get that nice giant pre-order window? Or is there another licensing deal? Is there something else going on? Is there another tie-in? Is House of the Dead being used in some other form or fashion? I'm hinting heavily. No, I don't know anything, but wouldn't it be nice to have this House of the Dead remake come out? And hey, this is really cool. And a month or two later, we hear from Arcade 1-Up that they're going to come out with a House of the Dead cabinet. The original titles, not the remake, the original stuff. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be awesome? And these little companies here, and I don't know, I didn't do my research, so I apologize. The companies that have been in charge of doing this remake, I'm not familiar with them, so they could be huge companies, small companies, not exactly sure. Is it possible that they could be doing something like that? If it's going to be sort of controller-based shooting, with the joystick and buttons, could we see this as an iArcade release also? But the remake, not the old games, the remake. I'm just speculating. I'm throwing it out there, but a short, tight window like this, I begin to sort of think that maybe there's something else there. I like to skew over here on the positive side. Maybe we're getting more. Maybe there's more to it. You could look at the flip side of that coin and say, maybe the game is crap. Maybe the game is super short. It's not fun and all. But I don't think so. From what I've seen, even if it's just down the line and just the game itself, but with a bump in graphics, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to come down to the controllers for sure. Faux show. Got a $5 super chat from Kings of Cobra. What's going on, man? $5. What up, Fox? Enjoyed you and Twisted Chris the other night. Soul Calibur Cab would be nice. But Marvel versus Capcom 2 would be better. Wouldn't be better. It'd be phenomenal. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is just one of those standards in arcade gaming history. Hell, in fighting game history. I'm pretty sure, with the exception of maybe a King of Fighters game, there has never been a number, just the sheer volume of fighters available on a given game at the time than was available on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and then all the different colors and all that. It was amazing. I know I burned up my first Dreamcast I had back in the day playing that game. I wish I still kept the game. I have it on PS2, but not on Dreamcast. And I may have to make that purchase. I may have to take that risk. But it's tough. Those games are coming up in price. Still praying for Donkey Kong Cab. Listen, you never know. Stranger things have happened. Everybody needs to think about this. Don't sleep on Nintendo working with Arcade 1-Up. They worked with Apple. They developed mobile games. Who thought in any way, shape, or form that they would have done that, considering that Nintendo has a mobile device in the Switch itself, but they still did that? Would it be possible for a short-term, limited run Nintendo collab with Arcade 1-Up. I think that there's a guy called John D who would probably like that very much. I think that there's a lot of people who like that very much. I think the people at iArcade would like that very much. Atgames, I think everybody is dying to work with Nintendo. Is Nintendo looking to work with them? I don't know. The bean counters over at Nintendo could make some good coin. Yeah. They could make some good money if they just licensed it out temporarily, very short-term license. You're only gonna be able to produce cabs between, physical year 2023 and that's it, maybe just 1 year, and that's all you got. And pay me some big money, and I think that everybody that wants one can get one within that year, and then they can move on. I mean, Nintendo would have to do nothing. I mean, really, just have some oversight over the ROMs themselves, but that's it. How does emulation look? And that's pretty much it. I mean, they would just sit there and rubber stamp the final design that Arcade 1-Up would have to come up with, or iArcade or whoever. So it's possible. I don't think it's impossible. I think it's possible. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat, and I really do appreciate it. And here you go.
Let's go.
Wolverine wins!
Rookie.
And we got us a man who just can't stop spending money. Jeff is hitting me again with a $5 super chat. I have a lot of PS1, PS2, and PS3 games. You and I are kindred spirit. Have you heard of a console that can run those? My fat boy keeps burning up hard drives. You're going to have to get a fat boy, and you're going to have to modify the fat boy. You may have to reflow the solder, but I would really recommend heavily modifying the case. Find a fat boy that works, that maybe it's all scratched up, and I would recommend cutting giant holes in that fat boy. Space it up also. Space up the bottom to get maximum airflow, and then let it go. There are liquid cooling options available too, but I think if you just really open up the space, if you really, you're going to have to, you could take your time and do it the right way. Get a hole saw, drill a bunch of holes, whatever, and you can maybe, you could make it look okay, but you're going to have to focus on airflow 100%. Got to be in a cool room. Can't be next to other game consoles. It has to be in a cube all by itself. And I would probably recommend some ventilation, some fans within that space that you've housed it. If it's in if it's inside a entertainment center, I would probably recommend some kind of an airflow, forced airflow, fans just in that case, that spot that you have it, to keep it flowing. Liquid cooling is a bit of an extreme, but it's possible. But I think you can just, that's going to be the best way to go. Emulation is what it is. The deal with PS4 and PS5, you cannot just put a disc in there and go. When it comes to something that can play them all, nobody has been able to touch the fat PS3. So, if you're savvy at all, if you're not afraid of cracking open a console, reflowing the solder, and using some good thermal paste, that may be the way you have to go. But ventilation is the key. Don't worry about that case. Screw it. Is what it is. Open that bad boy up. Have it on some spacers. Give it a good inch of clearance on the bottom. Don't stand it up, because that's not good for discs. Lay it down. Just lay it down. That's the best way to go. Don't rely on the spring tension of the balls inside. The thing that you put the disc on, over time, those springs can lose some tension, and you need that to be firmly planted on the drive so that the laser can read that. You don't want that to come loose, and if you stand it up in the upright orientation, it's going to happen. So lay it down. I didn't like to see the PS5. The PS5 digital's fine, whatever, but when it comes to the disc, you can lay it down, but it looks weird. I wish they would have thought that process or that design through a little bit more when it came to the digital, or the disc version, not the digital version. Digital, do what you want. Have it stand up, look like the tower from Neverending Story. It's fine. It's fine. But the disc version, I wish they would have made a slightly different version to make that really look a little bit better laying on its side. It's the best way to go. Sorry, that's the best I can do for you. Emulators are hit and miss. So, but thank you again for another $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. And you know what? Luckily, I have not run out of clips. I got, you know what? I'm going to hit you with a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. Here you go. So that's my prediction. So. I think we could see House of the Dead making its way into other spaces beyond just this remake. It is worth noting the remake is limited to Nintendo only. You're not going to see this so far, as I'm aware, on PS4 and Xbox or PS5 and Xbox yet. Who knows? But it's interesting that we're only seeing it over on the Nintendo side. That's probably because the controllers themselves are going to be utilized in some specific way, and I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. Now, would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, we got to wrap it up tonight, but not before checking out that poll. Let's see where we're at. So the question on the poll was, and I'm using a different monitor now. I'm looking over here. I'm used to looking over here. I still got both of them, but I'm looking over here now. So forgive me if I was doing this and this. I'm not having a nervous tick or having whiplash. Well, I am kind of getting whiplash, to be honest with you. But the question was, would you pre-order Dragon's Lair at $6.99? And 78% of you, with 151 votes, have said no. No, you would not, at that price point, pre-order Dragon's Lair. Prepare yourself, because I just don't think that I think that's where we're at. I don't think we're going to see it lower than that. I think we're going to see it in a configuration that's going to warrant that high price tag. And unfortunately, if you've looked at your Terminator 2 and your Ridge Racer listings, those things have not hit sales status just quite yet. I think eventually, but right now, the landscape is not kind to the bargain hunter. I think the only place you're going to go is Walmart. Twisted Chris just said, reminded us again that today you could, I say past tense because it's actually sold out at this point, but you could have gotten a Marvel pinball machine for $549, which was the original price. Now, you can still head over there and get that Simpsons cabinet for $399. And there's some other deals on some of the other cabinet configurations, specifically the cheaper legacy versions without the riser and without the lit marquee. You can get those. But other than that, it's not looking good, kids. It's not looking good as far as the sales are concerned. So sit tight. Don't worry. I think that we're going to see some, hopefully something else has to drop. Think about it. It's March. Are we going to really wait till June before anything happens? You know, Dragon's Lair goes out on pre-order, and then after that, we get a CES announcement or a CES announcement update. I don't know. I hope that there's something else because what is that? It was March, so we got April, May, June, 2-3 months. That sure does seem like a long time for nothing to happen. But then again, you know, RK1UP has rarely left us, you know, bored. Always find a way to keep us entertained. But anyway, speaking of entertained, you stay entertained. Thank you so much for checking out the stream. Please hit like on your way out. If you're watching this on replay, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all the stuff that I covered, and I'll probably cover it next week if it's nice and a hot take. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.